We are going to start if I get the indication that everybody's getting the sound feed that they need. Tom, are we getting... Yeah, we're good to go. Excellent. Well, welcome everybody to the annual student conference, and thank you very much for your interest in your student union. This is a regular feature of our program that we have an annual meeting in which all students can engage with us, ask questions of what the officers can do, what have been doing, and various things that the student union is up to at the moment. Just to introduce myself, I'm Andy Smith. I'm actually the chief exec of the student union, and I'm a full-time member of staff. The people who are actually your nominated representatives are sat to my left. There is one missing who is in a candidates conference and is hoping to be your elected representative for the following year. And there is another one missing who's currently on a transport system somewhere, and we're not quite able to track him down, but he is somewhere on the underground network and will hopefully join us soon. Just to go through what we're going to go through tonight, the agenda for the night is starting off with attendance and registration. We've also got some financial information to plough through and some formal business. Please help yourself to a copy of our accounts. Then we will go through the reports from the elected officers. We've got a report from our trustee board. We have an impact report, which is going to be presented by a communications team. And then we'll have some questions from the floor on the reports. There's also one matter arising from the previous annual student conference, and there's some new business to share with you. There will be plenty of space for questions, so please don't worry if you've got lots of questions. There will be plenty of space for questions. It may be that we take questions in a different order to what you ask them, just so that we can proceed through the business, but we will not ignore any questions that are put. Okay, moving on to our annual report and accounts. One of the formal bits of business of this meeting is for you to have a look at our audited accounts. Our audited accounts are signed off on an annual basis and are reported on the Charities Commission website and are also normally available on our own website, but I think there may be a problem with the links around that at the moment, but we'll get them up there as soon as possible. Here to present the annual accounts is Jayesh. Jayesh, if you can take us through the accounts. It would be incredibly helpful if you had a copy of them, even if you shared one between 3-4. It would be very helpful for you to have a copy, but otherwise Jay will take you through them verbally.
Okay, so does everyone have a copy of the annual accounts in front of you? Okay, so if you do, I'll talk you through the annual accounts of the Students' Union. So, starting from the front again, starting from the very beginning, Students' Union is a registered charity, still under the university. And on the second page, if you turn over, we've got our aims and objectives written down clearly as well. So, if you didn't know why the Students' Union is what it's here for, we've got our aims, objectives, and activities there, which are pretty self-explanatory, but if anyone has any questions, don't be afraid to ask. A lot of questions have been asked about our financial status over the past year or so, and we're happy to also mention, which is also in the accounts as well, that our auditors have approved our accounts and they're happy with our accounts and our accounting processes, so they've been approved for obviously continuance. Now looking and moving on to the statement of financial accounts. If you look at just to talk you through a few of our income for our income generation section. a few of the amounts may be surprising to some of you, so I'm just going to talk you through quickly. The grant of service accommodation, which you may see on the income rows under the voluntary income section, is basically a paper number for rooms for maintenance and IT services that the union has to pay for, but it's a paper number again. We don't physically pay for it. It's just in our accounts. The other grant section under the voluntary income, the other grants are basically paid to us from the university for us to run our fans scheme. So if any of you are aware, the Friends of Arriving New Students, that's what the £31,120 is for under the restricted funds. In the other income section, we have amounts in the other income. That's for amounts such as the Green Impact project that we have going on, and for fans as well. So that's what the other income section is for. If you look down into the expenditure now, if you compare the expenditure of the bar and the shops and the events against what we've brought in for them, it may look like we've made a big loss, but that's because we've accounted for the grant of serviced accommodation in there, so that's been split amongst the general funds, so it may look like we've made a loss, but looking at our management accounts, we've actually broken even on all of the events and the bar activity. Also looking at the £30,120, you may ask why that's under the research and representation section in the restricted funds. That is under the research and representation and welfare section, but it was previously under that section. Now it is, from next year, it will be under the student activity section. So that should clear that one up. The shops are next. So the shops may show major deficit, but that's due to cash taking longer to sort of process through the system, and the SU having quite a few members of staff looking after two shops situated in Cavendish and in Harrow. We also have, so if you look at the bottom of the statement of financial activities, you'll see a net income of £13,318. So they may look like a profit, but it's actually a reduction in deficit to the university, since we owe them quite a bit of money beforehand. So we have done well over the past year and a half, in the past financial year, but it is a reduction in deficit, so we are heading in the right direction. Although we do have a £369,329 deficit to the university, it's a very negative balance sheet, but we do have a letter of support from the university to obviously have some confirmation that they're not going to pull the plug, and we are being treated as a going concern, as the past 2 years we've had signs of major improvement under new management. The notes to the financial statements, if you have a look at the notes, you'll see that the other costs, under the other cost section, the space charges have been taken into account. That's why them figures might be slightly higher than expected. And you may also look at the number of student staff, which will be quite worrying to see that it has decreased. But the reason for that is because at first we had a lot of staff doing very little hours, whereas now under new management we're much more efficient and we have less staff doing a lot more hours, which is better for the Students' Union and better for the students here. If you also look at the trade debtors in the balance sheet, you will see a major deficit. That's because we owed the university £50,000 of the £64,000 that is listed there. But due to us owing so much to them, the university is taking the time to give that back as expected. We also wrote off £9,000 of that trade debtors due to bad debts because of under the old management, sorry. In the balance sheet again, if you look at the trade creditors, we owe the university £491,883. due to them paying the SU wages, wage bill over the past 3 years, not these 2 years because we've made a massive improvement, but previously under old management we owe the university as they paid our wage bill, but they've been invoicing us, and that's the reason that we still owe them that amount. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Do we have any questions on the accounts? Okay. Now, we don't have a quorum, and this is kind of a sort of paper exercise anyhow, but unless anybody objects, I'll say that everybody was happy with the accounts as presented. Do we have any objections to me proceeding in that way? We need to. Do we know how many more we need to make a quorum? It is the first time they've been published because I appreciate what you're saying. It's just an opportunity for you to formally, on initial inspection. They're still on. They will be on the website for further debate and comment. Need 42 more people. Okay. All right. And the next formal bit is the approval of the auditors. Now, the auditors, we have to get sort of approval every year. We are suggesting as an organisation that we'd like to remain with the auditors that we currently own, which are Clark, Crowe, Whitehill, and they are the auditors that have seen us through a difficult period, understand our processes, and have given us a lot of direction and guidance in clearing our finances up. So, which is why we're saying that we should approve these auditors to audit our accounts next year. If you've got any questions, again, this is kind of business that probably is not. It's the first hearing for many people. If you've got any questions about this, then please feel free to address us after the meeting or sometime in the next couple of weeks. Would anybody have any objection to us approving those auditors for the next set of accounts? Okay, thank you for that. The next is the reports. Now, the first report is the report of the elected officers. Now, because we're hoping still that the underground system will deliver as a full officer team, I would recommend that we move to the second one, which is a report from the trustee board and its subcommittees, to give us a bit more time, which is a paper that was available from the desk. Is everyone okay if we proceed in that way? So reading through the report, I won't read word by word, but this is a new feature of the annual student conference. We felt it very important that as an organisation, our ultimate governance is through a trustee board. So we felt it incredibly important that the trustees felt it important that they at least present a report to you of the activities that they're involved in. So reading through on each one, elections, just to inform you, we had each trustee serve. Hello? Each trustee serves. Can everybody? Oh, yeah. Each trustee serves a period of 2 years, and they can be re-elected for a further period of 2 years. This re-election is done at the trustee board by show of hands. So we've had one trustee, external trustee, re-elected for an additional 2 years. These trustees are not elected officers, they're external to the organisation, and what they bring in is they bring in their knowledge and experience from outside the student union to help govern what the student union does. We also had a change in one of our university appointed trustees. We have 2 university appointed trustees, and one of those term of office expired and a new university appointed trustee was elected. As part of the process, the current president, Khaled, was elected as deputy chair of the trustee board, and deputy chair is there just to chair the meetings if the chair of the trustees is not available. The current chair of the trustees is Louis Coiffet, and he's an external trustee. Details about all of our trustees are available on the website, I believe, or certainly were last time I looked. We have two fully functioning subcommittees. One is the Finance and Audit Committee, and the other is the Standards and Ethics Committee. The Finance and Audit Committee looks after pretty much what it says on the tin, all of our financial procedures, all the high-level financial decisions, and all of the things associated with financial risks to the organisation. This year, the Finance and Audit Committee have been working very hard on clearing up the recommendations from previous year's audited accounts. Excuse me. Yeah, silent that one. So they've been working very hard on clearing up details of that. They've also implemented a new purchase control system. The committee have approved a new business continuity plan, and also very much the Finance and Audit have been focused on an income generation strategy that reduces our reliance on the money from the university and looks at additional ways of bringing in revenue. During the past year, the Standards and Ethics Committee actually met for the very first time, so they've been laying dormant for a number of years, and we resurrected their role. The sort of issues that they discuss and focus on is officer performance and conduct and performance of the other trustees and the senior member of staff, which is myself. The key things that they've been looking at in the past year is sabbatical officer pay and rewards, looking at any grievances against the university, against the student union and against the officers, and there's also been some disciplinary processes as well. They've generated an officer roles and responsibilities handbook, which again, if it isn't, I'll make sure is available on our website for everyone to view, so that everyone can have a look at what the officer roles and responsibilities are. And there's also been an introduction of a monthly reporting structure for sabbatical officers. That is yet to go on the website, but will be a regular feature of our website, so there is a more direct sort of relationship between the officers and the students on what they've been up to in the past month. The trustees also noted that we've done a lot of work on our HR audit recommendations, and some of this work was staff appraisals, 360-degree feedback for officers and for myself, and we've significantly updated our strategic risk registers and approved them. We've also done some work on transparency and accountability through the senior leadership team. The General Trustee Board itself has been involved in quite a lot of business. First of all, there have been changes to the bylaws. We've changed the bylaw 7 on the Diversity Forum and accept that there is more work to be done on the Diversity Forum, and we're looking at ways of improving that, perhaps looking at it as a monthly meeting. There have been changes to bylaw 12, which is our membership disciplinary procedure, which gives us a very clear way of dealing with incidents involving people who can be seen to be representing the student union. We've had a look at the SSA committees. There is, again, more work to be done on that. And there's also been changes to the bylaws around NUS conference attendance. This was by and large triggered by the NUS passing a motion to ensure that NUS conference delegates had to be a balance of female and male. So we have 6 delegates, and so our commitment is that we have to have 3 female and at least 3 male. 3 female delegates attending NUS conference. So that required us to make some amends around that. We've been involved in developing a culture around preventing suicide, self-harming and bullying through education and training. I hope some of you saw our Mind Your Mates programme. We've also been developing a learning and development strategy for the board's capabilities. It is fair to say that the board has been quite internally focused this year, essentially because it's needed to be, around its own skills, competencies, learning and development. We've also been focused on the strategy and performance of the Student Union. We've reviewed and renewed the strategy. We've renewed and reviewed a performance management process. We have, in fact, discussed the no platform policy, which was referred, sorry, there's a bit of a typo, which was referred from the previous Student Council. The board has been much more involved in my priorities and setting my goals. We have now got a new internal organisational structure and a new senior management team structure. We've got a much better budgeting process and there is a succession plan in place. Now, just to point out that the current SU strategy was born from 2 years of hard work in reconnecting with our students, but this was some time ago, but we did engage extensively through focus group work and surveys. So we do feel at the moment that we are in the right strategy area. The trustees definitely feel that we've got a strategy that is right for our students. Although I think the trustees will also accept that they need to do more to re-engage with students as we've been through a difficult period. Any more information on this can be found at uwsu.com. I've really whizzed through what has been 12 months hard work by the trustee board, and I'm happy to take any questions on the work of the trustee board and the report you've just received. Oh, yeah? Yes. Yes, currently we're working on a student engagement strategy which has been led by a student engagement team. But we're also, you may have noticed the Just Say It logo. We're also, through the Just Say It programme, looking at all the possible ways that we can connect with students, be that through questionnaires, focus groups, more forums at which students can attend and tell us what we think, this kind of meeting as well, giving this meeting more importance and credibility, and putting more effort into the annual student conference. So it's all those sort of measures around that, and there will be a student engagement strategy coming out through the trustee board soon. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. I think, again, I really would like to hold off on the officer reports as long as possible. And in order to do that, if I can ask our communications manager to talk you through our impacts report. Microphone there. Probably stand in front of the stage. Would that be easiest?
Hello. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a real quick whistle-stop tour of our Impact 2014. So 2014 was a really good year for the University of Westminster Students' Union. We're hoping to do a lot more for you this year, but here's the highlights from 2014. What is an impact report? Basically, the impact report is what we've done for you over the year, and it should be important to you because you should know. Okay, sorry. Because you should know what we're doing for you. We're your Students' Union at the end of the day, so you should want to know what are we doing for you every single day of the year. So what have we been doing? Okay, so in the impact report, it's a document that you can download online. There will be an individual update from your sabbatical officers. I won't go into those now because they'll do those for you themselves. I'm getting this. Come up there. Okay. Yeah, like that. How's that? Better? Yes. Okay, next. So fans. So I've kind of done this in kind of the beginning of your time at university and right through the year. So there was 190 fans trained in 2014. 40 students looked after per student. So your Students' Union looked after over 7,000 new students, which is pretty impressive. Hopefully each of you as a first year might have been greeted by a fan, and we're hoping to keep this going year after year. Freshers Fair, we had 4 fairs over 4 sites, so every single student teaching campus there was a Freshers Fair at it, and we handed out over 5,000 goodie bags. We had over 6,610 sign-ups at your Freshers' Fair, so that's where you go to get involved in all the great societies that we have at Westminster. And the year ended, so that was at December, with 91 registered societies, up 65 from the previous year. So that's really good. There's more and more things for you guys to get involved in here at Westminster. We had over 1,200 sports club members registered, so it's more of you guys getting involved in sports. And a record 5 clubs won their respective leagues, which is really good. So you should be really proud that your teams are winning for you. We were awarded 10,000 in funding to prevent suicide and bullying with the Mind Your Mates campaign, which is about, you guys sort of knowing what you've got to look for to make sure, if one of your friends is contemplating committing suicide, what are you looking for to try and help them and support them? Really good campaign run by your students' unions to try and help you. We also trained over 250 course reps, and now every campus, where every campus has an office, they also have their own welfare representation and research advisor in those offices every day for you guys. So student media had a great year as well. So Smoke Radio weekend programming launched, and the Cavendish studio came about as well. They had 3 RSA nominations, which is great. The TV station had over 154,314 views by the end of the year, which is insane, and 14.2% more minutes watched than in 2013, which is quite interesting. And we also had 3 editions of the Smoke magazine, which is run completely by students. So all those student media opportunities are all there for you guys to get involved in, and they're all going from strength to strength. So make sure you get involved, or read them, or watch them, or listen to them. Events are, there's always events going on for you, but here's just a few snippets. The Freshers event finale was held at Pasha, London, and was headlined by Wretch 32. We had 200 block passes sold, 500 bar crawl tickets, and 22 events during Freshers Fortnight. So loads going on all the way through year 2014. If you check out our emails, there's even more stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. The Undercraft, there's some really good food here. It's better than the Domino's we're giving out, and I'm joking. We had a refurbishment of Undercraft, including new pizza oven. Since we launched our new food menu in September, we've served over 2,000 of you, which is, a lot. So make sure you get down and enjoy those. And the bar does employ 15 student staff. So, that's giving back to you guys and giving you some employability skills for next year. The shops, you can now spend £2 and pay on your card and get up to £30 cash back, which is useful if you can't find a cash machine. And they've got a new clothing range, so well done all around there. Lost the mouse. Web and social media, so we've got lots of going on online. So we've got a new website launched last year. Snapchat's launched. We had our first SU BuzzFeed quiz, which really took off. I hope you guys saw that. 185,471 website views, 28,000 website viewers, and 36 increased Twitter followers. Hopefully you've all got us on Twitter. If not, Westminster SU. And then just finally, a few more other little highlights. Our first ever Westminster Film Forum, Give It a Go, was launched, and our 50,000 Westminster Startup Project. So that's basically just the highlights of it. There's tons more stuff in the report itself. So if you just go on issue.com and search for Westminster SU, you can get the entire report for the whole of 2014. It was a great year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions on the impact report? I know as a student union we are never going to be perfect, and there's always more we can be doing, but I also think it's important to reflect on what we have done, and that actually we're not just sitting around. Your officer team aren't just sitting around. We are out the staff team aren't just sitting around. We are out there trying our utmost to do the best for our students. Any questions for Holly on the impact report? Okay. I just wonder, because people have been coming in, but they've also been going out, I just wondered, Andita, would you mind doing me a quick favour and just running around doing a quick head count, see if we're caught up? Because that would be lovely. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I don't think we should delay any further, so we're going to go straight into the officer reports. And I know they've created a report on Prezi. Just excuse us while we get to the right place. And I'll leave it to them to sort out because they've organised this. Okay, so we still need another 32 to 35. Okay. Yeah. She's just done a head count.
Is everyone all right? Yeah? No? Guys on the beanbags, are you okay? Yeah? Everyone over there still alive? Come on, guys, some life here.
Go on, do the full business. Anybody from the Harrow campus? Regent Street.
Oh, don't worry about the rest.
New Cav. Hey, behave. New Cav. Oh, hey. Marylebone Road. There you go. I've warmed them up for you, Rianne. They're all yours.
Okay, as we're in Harrow, I'm going to start first by running through what I've been up to over the past academic year. So to start with, Aramark over there. So some of you who have come from other campuses or Harrow students that have been at other campuses, you'll know that the minimum charge is slightly less, 50% less actually, in Harrow. Yay for us. So it's £2.50 here rather than £5 in central London. So with the housing campaign, some of you may have seen the housing campaign. There was like a big house over on the forum, the auditorium wall, home is where the art is. We're getting students to basically write out what their issues are with housing, private or halls. It was really successful. I did that with the SSA team. Sexual assault campaign, shortly after the housing one, kicked off with the sexual assault one. There was a spoken word event in the forum, and just loads of little things happening elsewhere on the campus. Madfest wasn't that long ago, actually. It was last month, in January. And actually, we still have some work up from Madfest with the ABE students. Really great event, some really good workshops up at the top. We had some work displayed down in the forum part. Green Impact Champion. So we've got a student that's a Green Impact Champion now to help to greenify the Students' Union. SSA Harrow, so some of you may have seen the SSA team in their pink tops just wandering around the campus. They've done a few events this year, actually. They did a freshers competition, which was So Harrow It Hurts. So if you've got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, not so much on Facebook, actually, it was mainly on Instagram. Have a look on there, So Harrow It Hurts. And I definitely encourage you guys to keep posting. We're still getting loads of stuff posted every so often, so it's really, really good. It's helped bring to unify the Harrow community. Refectory space. So by the end of this term, by the start of next term, you'll see that the refectory space, the back of the refectory will be a completely different space. It will be a performance space, well, a multifunctional space actually, so to allow for performances, exhibitions, live art installments, that kind of thing. You know, there'll be a stage, some music stuff, hopefully a bar as well. We're just still working on that. So it'll be a really good space as of next year. Students' work. So for any Harrow students, you may have noticed that intermittently throughout the term, we've had some students' work up on the TV and occasionally on the projector as well. It's been really, really great. Alongside that as well, I also organised for some of the Smoke Radio team to get trained by the techie guy for this space to allow them to stream Smoke Radio in the forum as well. But unfortunately, we had to stop because the system got changed, but it'll be back again. And general election as well. So working alongside some students, mainly in Regent's campus and debating society, law society, bar society. We did some really great. We did a debating series for the general election, and we had really great engagement with that. Really good attendance, and everyone enjoyed it. It was really good. If you get a chance, have a look at the hashtag, which was #WGE as well. It was really good. So I've kind of just rushed through mine just to keep you guys engaged, but does anyone have any questions for me on anything that I've been working on, anything that you were hoping I'd work on, or anything like that, anything you're not happy with? Harrow students, I'm looking at you.
Okay, so any questions for Ian?
I don't know who's next. Great, I've done a good job. Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Sorry, yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Muaz Mahmood, your Vice President, talking from the region at Little Titchfield Street campus. Okay, so my update, as you can see, the first one was missing. Okay, so just from the start of the year, we had the residential trip with the whole team, so Rian failed to mention that part. This was a bonding trip for us, especially to get to know the new guy, where we, discussed our goals and how to plan them. And we had a lot of fun as a group. Anyway, at the start of the year, we all delivered student union presentations to over 20 induction talks for new students. And that could have been for postgraduate students, undergraduate students, etc. SSAs at the beginning of the year, I'll just take you through that very quickly. We assembled a group of 10 wonderful, there was a great diversity between the group of SSAs that we had. There was 10 of them with a fair split between the male and female ratio. The background, ethnicity, their religion, their sexuality, first-year students, second-year students, postgraduate students, mature students. So we had a very wide range of students, which I think actually they're the best representative of the group of SSAs. Anyway, so taking you through more to academic progress, recorded lectures are officially available in almost every SSH module. However, there are still the ethical boundaries where it is not compulsory for every student, whereas it is available. It is available for every single, for almost every SSH module for the lecture to be recorded, and that's between the students and their lecturer. More dissertation support. More dissertation support for third-year students through one-to-one meetings with their dissertation advisor. Campus activity has been really live this year. We had an Eid party at the beginning of the year with a charity fundraiser, which was in collaboration with the wonderful Afghan Educational Society. We had an open mic night, which was very entertaining. A culture festival to showcase our brilliant, diverse community. We have over 150 different ethnic and diverse backgrounds in our university. So, we tried to celebrate this to the best of our ability. We had Campus Awareness Week. We, of course, had the Charlie Hebdo debate, which was a huge success. In terms of facilities, we finally got the notice boards up, which took us quite a long time to get them up, but they're up. And this is a great chance for societies and sports to showcase their wonderful work. As of second semester, January, we have a new student union games room in Wall Street, located in room B03. States and facilities are now officially reviewing the possibility of a new social space in Little Titchfield Street, but only with the adequate student demand. Therefore, there might be a possibility of a campaign to lobby the university later on this semester. And to wrap up, still to come, there's going to be a careers fair for the SSH faculty only, and there'll be another campus awareness campaign, and more entertaining events from the wonderful Site Student Association, which are the SSA. Any questions?
Okay, any questions for the VP Regents? Yeah, we got one over there. Do we have a roving mic that we can run? Do we? In 2 minutes. Otherwise, if you, are you happy shouting? Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Just so, if I can repeat the question, so everyone can hear, correct me if I paraphrase it wrong, but you were saying you've been to the SU office several times and you haven't seen, yeah? Right, okay, so SSA, what is the SSA? Been to the Regent Street office and not seen, so that's question 2. And the final question was, should be at the student forum meetings and you haven't seen, okay. You got those 3 questions?
Okay. So the student forum meetings, actually, the two that were there this year, the first one I did attend it in the first semester. The second one I couldn't because I was suspended from work. So I hope that tackled your question. In terms of the SSA, they're the Site Student Association. We opened application forms for all students to apply for at the beginning of the year, but there were only 10 places, and we tried our best to advertise them through social media, such as Facebook and Twitter, etc. But it's fair enough that you didn't, hear about them more often, because the thing is, I mean, the Facebook page only has something like, 300 or 400 likes, and that's nothing compared to the 8,000 students of the region at Uttishful Street campus. The third question was, am I available in the office? That is true, 100%. I don't deny that. I'm not always there. Sometimes I start the day in another campus. Sometimes I could only be available through emails, and that is a flaw. That is a flaw, and I admit that completely. That because I'm so all over the place, I couldn't be in my office all the time.
Okay,
but I reply and respond to all emails that go my way, and I always instruct the receptionist to always hand out my card to students that want to get through to me. If not, if they haven't got through to me face to face.
Okay, do you want to? Is our roving mic working yet? No, sorry, you're gonna have to shout again. Sorry.
It's not right. I know it's not right, and hand on heart, I completely apologize for that, and I will try extremely hard to make you change your mind on me, and I'm gonna try extremely hard as well to work with the new sabbatical officer that will take my place, and the handover between me and him. I'll teach him a lot, and I'll make sure that he stays in his office a bit longer. So I apologize for that. Thank you for that.
Okay, any more questions from us? Okay, next, moving on to VP Cavendish.
Yeah, hi guys, it's Mahmood, your Vice President Cavendish. So I'm going to talk you through what I've done throughout the year. To give you a quick run through what I've done throughout the year, I believe that course reps do play a really important role in the Cavendish campus, and I really urge to support all our course reps by attending meetings and even dealing with issues that have been faced throughout the campus, from small issues to along with other things. I've engaged with the Black History Month, which took place in the first semester, which is really about not just the conventional Black History Month of American history, but taking on the approach of diversity and representing our diverse cultures and what their roles they've taken in our society. Really pushing for a wide range of course-based societies. We've developed quite a few societies over the year, one being the Programming Society, which have done really well. They have been able to capture 200 members only in the space of only 2 days, which is really, really well. They've been holding weekly sessions, which I've been helping to support them. In the works of setting up a brand called Career Links, we're just finalizing it as we speak. Sorry. 3, 4. So I'm just in the process of setting up a brand called Career Links, which is all about really employability for students, guest speakers coming in, and specialist speakers. Sorry, close my, okay. I've been instructed closer to my mouth. Don't want to kiss this mic, I don't know where it's been. But just working with Career Links is a brand that I've set up, which is around employability, around specialist speakers coming in. We're just arranging for next month for Solomon Akhtar from The Apprentice to come in to give a talk as well, and just to really sort of do more workshops around LinkedIn as well. Sort of academic awareness, really sort of encouraging students to really be aware of the academic regulations, so they're not falling into any disrepute or any sort of allegations of plagiarism, etc. Working with the RAG committee as we speak, just to get a few more events on the side, really working to really push to more charity within the campus and greater support for our course-based societies, and just a variety of events over the year, from our law society all the way down to the nutrition society as well. Do you have any questions?
Okay, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? And sorry, Andita, you know how much you love your job. Could you just do another quick head count? Thank you. Okay, if there's no questions then for Uthman, moving on to Jay.
Yeah, they always save the best till last. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jayesh, your VP of Marleybone. So I'm going to quickly talk you through, thank you very much. I'm going to quickly talk you through some of the stuff I've been up to this past year. So starting off with Learning Futures. So the top one is a committee, the Learning Futures Curriculum and Assessment Committee. So I've been representing the students across the university on the curriculum and assessment side of studies here. So how the curriculum's sort of structured, how it's built, your assessments, how you get assessed, how many assessments you have, what they're worth, and things like that. So we've been working alongside the university on finding out what's best for you guys. As well as that committee, I've been working on the Employability Task Force, which is quite similar to the I'll come on to that one anyway. But the Employability Task Force is basically working on the employability side of student experience here at university. So how many graduate prospects students have, how many internships, what's available to students whilst they're here at university at Westminster. Even on study abroad programs and work placements. Plagiarism, so that's another one. A lot of students here at Westminster don't understand where they go wrong with plagiarism. They don't understand what plagiarism is and how they're being accused of plagiarizing. So we've been working with the Westminster Business School on finding out and doing workshops with students so it sets it out and confirms what plagiarism is, so students know where the boundaries lie and what plagiarism is, so it makes their coursework more reliable and obviously plagiarism free. Lockers installation, we've finally got lockers at Marleybone. So following the Regents campus, we'll be following the same sort of procedures that they'll be using. So lockers are free at the moment at Marleybone, so any of you that have a lot of books and heavy stuff to carry, you don't have to worry about them anymore because you can use the lockers downstairs. Just come to the Students' Union office and speak to myself or the receptionist and they'll be able to sort you out. International Experience and Outward Mobility Group. So that's another committee that I work with the university, and this particular group concentrates on student experience and going abroad, so study abroad programs, what the employability is like at University of Westminster. So we have a lot of international students that come in to Westminster, but we barely have any that go out. Nowhere near as much go out compared to the amount of students that come in. So we're trying to find out why students are not taking the opportunity. Maybe it's communication, or maybe they just don't know much about it, or maybe they're just scared of going abroad because they don't know too much about it. But we're trying to work on that now so we get more students taking the study abroad programs and get them more aware of these things. Real-time feedback, so that's another sort of coming off my first year manifesto point, feedback on feedback. Real-time feedback is basically the idea of a grumble board. After every 2 weeks, we practiced it in the postgraduate level where they have just around 100 students, but we're trying to bring that to undergraduate level now. So a module that has around 800 students currently enrolled onto it. So real-time feedback gives students the opportunity to give feedback on seminars and lectures, how good and what they've learned, if they've learned from the seminar, and how good and what the quality was like of the seminar or lecture. So instead of waiting at the end of the year and making improvements then, the university and the staff can make improvements incrementally every fortnight or monthly. New laptops put into libraries, so this is something that's happened across all campuses. We've had 50 brand new laptops put into the Marylebone, Regents, Cavendish and Harrow campuses. So a lot of students had problems getting out laptops, coming in too late in the morning where they've all gone. So now we have 50 laptops. And obviously we're still having problems because all of the 50 laptops gets used. So hopefully we'll see if they carry on going like this, then we'll have to try and get more. Something that's not on there, we've also got Apple Mac computers now on campus as well. So we've got a lot of architecture students on campus and a lot of business students. So I think around 60% of the campus use Apple products rather than desktop. So I didn't think it was fair for students to compromise their work. If they're used to Mac, why not use Mac? It's 21st century, we should have the availability of both. So we have them into the library now. We also have professional principals. So a lot of staff complain about students being late to lectures or not handing in their work on time, but it's right. The students have the right to have the same feeling about staff. So if staff, lecturers or tutors are late to seminars, or if they hand work back late, there's a sort of, the professional principles is a mutual agreement both between staff and students, and it's promoted. We've got posters and we've got flyers in every single seminar room and lecture hall in the Marylebone campus, so that students know they've got the responsibility of their own learning, and staff also have responsibility as well towards students. And the last one, but not least, we have Student Pride happening as well this weekend. So we've been working closely with the university at Marylebone. Again, this is the second time we're going to be holding it again and hosting the honourable event. So we look forward to obviously taking part in it and showing up and seeing what's going on. So very proud to be a part of it. And that's everything.
So as the president isn't here, there is nothing further to discuss, but any questions for Jay? I'm trying to find out. He's on a train somewhere, allegedly. Do we have any updates? Okay, so does somebody want to give an update on the president's location?
We're not aware of where he is at the moment, so we'd just like to move on. But, okay, so everyone, I'd just like to take this moment to talk to you all. Okay, so it's going to be a bit more silent. I'd like to put forward a proposal, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to do so. So I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a document that is on the table. It's about student assembly, and for any of you that doesn't have it or haven't had an opportunity to look through it.
That's later on in the agenda.
I'll just do it now if that's okay. I've already started.
Okay.
Cool.
Crack on.
Okay. So
I think I was told.
Sorry, my bad. Okay, so for anyone that hasn't already had an opportunity to look through it, I just want to talk you through it. I'll be really, really quick because I know this is quite long and there's a lot of information that you're having to digest. But for those of you that are aware, I know there's varying levels of engagement within the Students' Union in this crowd that of students that are here. So for those of you that are aware, we don't really, and I am just talking as an independent sabbatical officer rather than as a sabbatical officer team or on behalf of the Students' Union, we don't really have any democratic procedures to hold the officers to account. And for anyone that's been following the elections, you'll know that students that are running for a position, whichever position it is, they have put this as a manifesto point to bring back accountability. It is important. We are paid a significant amount of money to represent you, so you should be able to hold us to account on what we are or aren't doing, basically. So what I propose is that we bring back introduce student assembly, and how that will work is something that we need to work on. At this point, it is just an idea, and that's all I have at the moment. But I hope that you guys will understand how important it is as a democratic organisation to have accountability measures. If you're not happy with us, you should be able to say, and you should have a platform to do so, rather than waiting until the annual student conference, which happens annually, once a year, to be able to do so. And even at that point, you're not able to pass motions. So there should be somewhere where you can help to shape the direction of the Students' Union. At the moment, before this meeting, how many of you actually were aware of what our priorities are as a union, or what it is that we actually want to do? That would be a platform to do so, basically. So at this point, I kind of just want to get a raise of hands for any students that would like this to be a priority for the trustee board, as well as for the union going forward, really. Anyone that thinks that we should have accountability, that you guys should be getting your money's worth, essentially, from the Students' Union. Anyone that thinks that you should be able to put forward ideas on where the union should be going and what we should be doing, please raise your hand, and then it will become a discussion at the trustee board, and then hopefully it will be something that will be introduced as of academic year 15-16.
if you can keep your hand in the air and wave it around like you don't care, then if I will do a count, and if Andita can help me do an account. Still counting on the stairs, if you could put your hands up.
Come on, guys, on the stairs.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I get right. Okay. That's close enough. We'll take that at 78. 70. Okay, we'll take it at 78. I was a bit out of that, but I didn't include those three to my left, even though I said yes. 4. Okay, so we agree, actually. If we agree 78, then we agree. Okay, thank you for that. Well, that's cleared up the new business part too. Matters arising from the previous meetings. Back up. Up, 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 up. Okay, just because this was discussed at a previous annual student conference, even though it wasn't Cora, and it has been on the trustee board agenda and is obviously an issue of great importance to quite a few of our students. So we felt it absolutely critical to update people what's happened on the no platform policy. Oh, back up. Oh, up. Oh, down, down, down. Sorry. All right, yeah, sorry, back up, sorry. I'll talk you through the background of what's happened and then open up the floor to questions and debate if the officers can deal with that. The background is that the LGBT Society, as it was then, did a research document into the LGBTI student experience on our campuses. And it's fair to say there were some issues on there that were of concern. They had discovered incidents of harassment and intimidation on campus based on sexuality. They also noted a lot of our external speakers had views on homosexuality and felt this was wrong. And so they brought to the previous annual student conference a statement that said we should have a very clear policy that directs us on what external speakers should attend. Next one, sorry. So the previous annual student conference, the officers agreed that we should look into the issue and we should consult with the students, and this consultation process was meant to have concluded by now, and unfortunately it hasn't. Yes, about to. This has not been an issue that has laid fallow or been kicked into the long grass. The trustees have discussed it at 3 of their meetings and believe that a no-platform policy is not the right way to challenge intimidation and intolerance. It's about the individual speaks and not the organisation they may or may not belong to. Some student unions are under pressure with legal challenges to their no-platform policies, and there has been some interest in a national campaign started by an organisation called Spiked. That there is an acceptance by the trustee board that we absolutely need to do more on dealing with intimidation and harassment on campus. And what was the biggest realisation and the biggest issue as to why we haven't completed a consultation is that in our current processes there is no fair and open transparent consultation process that we could follow to engage with students on the issue. And so actually there's been a lot of backfill work to create a process by which that can happen. And there was a paper passed on policy formulation, etc., at one of the more recent trustee boards. So really, the consultation hasn't happened because the trustees haven't known how to conduct the proper consultation, and this discussion has taken a lot longer than expected. So that's where we are on the no platform policy. However, it is still my mandate from the trustees to create a process by which we can have an open and fair consultation on no platform policies and which external speakers come along to our organisation and basically speak in our name, even though they're not speaking views endorsed by UWSU. So that's where we are on that. I should imagine there'll be a lot of opinions and questions on that. So let's take that from there. We now have a roving microphone.
So what's the obvious next stage in that process, the consultation process? It's taking some time to come to conclusions, fair enough. But where to go now? Can we set a definitive date? We need to have a meeting on that or whatever else?
Do you want me to take that? Yeah. Because the paper that was approved is a process by which policy can be formulated on our website, which gives everybody access to the debate. But there is also an online questionnaire that is prepared and ready to go, and a series of meetings through all the student forums that we have ready to go. This, of course, is also another forum at which the trustees will hear the opinions of the students on what they feel, and this meeting will be taken to the trustee board as well.
Yeah, okay, so the question can be, when is it going to happen? And if it hasn't happened yet, why has dates been set? When is this going to go into action? It still seems very unclear, very hard for students to get information of what's happening going forward. There needs to be a clear date, there needs to be some sort of transparency and awareness of this process. I mean, like the LGBT Society had an open meeting on Monday about this policy. The university said policy has been followed, the discussion then came, how do we change the policy? If they're not aware that there's a discussion about this, why have they not been told that probably this site is most effective?
Sorry, can we have a bit more volume on that mic? Whilst that happens, just to outline, the current process is that all external speakers go through an approval process that is set out by the university. It is an approval process of the university that our external speakers go through. Now, the student union could have an additional process where it says, we don't want this particular speaker here in our name. And that is why there is a complication, because until recently, we were led to believe that even if the student union did not approve a speaker, the university itself would still facilitate groups of students bringing in a speaker. So even if we had a policy that said this speaker can't attend, then the university would still, we were led to believe that that is the case. Now the debate has moved on from that, and I think that has changed. As for your question about the timescales, well, it's our next big piece of work on the Just Say It. So the Just Say It for the annual student conference was the first piece of work, and then it's the next big piece of work for Just Say It. Was there a question at the back? Obviously, can I just point out that as a member of staff, this is a very difficult area for me to talk upon, because this is an issue of student policy, and what we really need as a student union is the student input. And I think I accept responsibility because we haven't had the resource to progress the debate, but I think it's really important that the debate happens amongst the students, not between myself and the annual student conference.
So my question was, as a student union, you're looking for greater student engagement and partnership from the students, right? So why aren't you getting back to the students with information? Why are you getting back to the students with information that, like, simply asking, if you don't have a date, that's fine, but the students just want to know you're actually doing something. So all this stuff you've told us, that's great, but most of the other students have no idea about this, because it's like the annual student conference. If you want them to engage, you tell them what's going on. You tell them there's a point in actually engaging and show us that you're working with us in partnership.
That's the next piece of work. That is the next thing on the agenda.
I would also just mention as well, just in addition to what Andy said, is that we do have a diversity forum, and that's an opportunity to raise discussions, to have discussions like that. And Ethel, I do understand we as a students' union have identified that there's more work that can be done in terms of communicating to students. We do have restrictions or limitations as to what we can do and the resources that are available to us, and that's something that we have been trying to work on. We're not able to, at the moment, as much as we try, we're not able to actually directly communicate with every student. We as a SAB team, as well as the wider Students' Union team, do as much as we can, but we want students to feed in. We want students to be leading the union rather than staff, because that's how it's supposed to be. And yeah, the Diversity Forum is next week, by the way, just as a quick plug. So
yeah, 10th of March, Diversity Forum. I think the thing is, if general students are not aware that we are consulting on this by the end of this semester, then I think it would be fair to say that we've fallen behind our expectations.
Hello. I mean, the word of the day seems to be engagement. There are not even 100 students here. This is annual students' conference. The election shows hardly 2,800 students voting. Where is engagement? And you say it is the next step. Why next step? Why not till now? What's till now?
In order to successfully engage with 23,000 students, you need capacity to do that. And I think I know, but as an organisation, you need a capacity to do that, and this is where we're at. We're building our capacity to be able to deliver on this.
Also, just as another addition, in comparison to the student conference last year, we have significantly increased the numbers of students that are attending the student conference. Pardon? I think there was definitely less than 10, so we've definitely done better. I think that's a testament to the effort that we're trying to put in to engage a wider audience of students.
For reference, the final election count was 3,076, which puts us into the top 10% of student unions. I think our voter turnout is around about 13%. I am happy to be corrected on that, but I think it does put us in the top decile of student union voter turnouts. It doesn't mean that we're happy with that, but it just means that, you know, you have to bear in mind relativity.
Yeah, but I mean, you're happy with relatively 13% to 10%?
No, I'm not saying we're happy with it. I'm just saying that comparing it to other student unions, you know, we are doing our best.
This is a question to mainly Andy. You've used the word capacity, that we need to increase capacity. The student union this year had the amount of around about £1.8 million. What more do you need?
No, we didn't have a block grant of £1.8 million. We did have a significant block grant. We had a block grant in the previous financial year. We had just under £1 million, yes. But when you look at where that money goes, most of it is spread quite widely around. Running 4 offices, running 4 mini student unions does pose a significant resource challenge to us. Sorry? Yeah, I mean, if you look at the space we operate out of compared to other student unions you may have seen, we're still very much growing our presence, and you know.
I think, as I mentioned before when we was looking over the accounts as well, we're in the debt we are in now because we've already proven to the university what a student union looks like that spends all of its money, what a good funded student union looks like, and now we're showing the university what a more reliable student union looks like, a more obviously better managed, more efficient, and more reliable student union looks like. So that's the sort of difference the student union is now. So from what it was to where it is now. Yeah, and it's definitely more sustainable, as mentioned by Andy and Rian before as well. So it's not just say that the £1.2 million goes sort of out the window. There's a lot of different departments that need funding, with most of it going onto wages and societies and activities and things like that. So that's where most of our activities go. But now that capacity doesn't mean we don't have the sort of team to do it, we're now separated onto each campus. So it's sort of getting a wider range of students, and now obviously, as we keep mentioning engagement, that's the sort of next step that Andy's talking about. So we know how to get to students, we just need to sort of make the movements to do it now, because that's how we're working with the university as well on doing that.
I am happy to go through management accounts to show exactly where the money goes. That's not a process we can really do in a forum like this, but I think we may look to set up a meeting of people who are interested, because we've got nothing to hide with what we spend and what we spend it on. Well, again, the management accounts is a set of information that's probably not appropriate for completely broadcasting. However, we've got nothing to hide from them. So we could perhaps do a summary. We could create a summary that's meaningful enough without creating more questions than it answers. Any more questions? What was that? Can we have the results now? I don't know if well, I suspect the results have been finalised and sorted. So, just one more bit of business before we go to any other business, any other questions. We needed to use this opportunity to explain to our members some recent developments. And I'll very quickly run through it, but there is a more detailed briefing available. First of all, we, as a student union, are a charity. We're a registered charity. The university itself is an unregistered charity, and as such is not governed by the Charities Commission. However, we are a registered charity, and we are governed by the Charities Commission. This is quite a recent development. We've only been a registered charity for 2 years, and I think the longest registered charity as a student union is about 4 years. So this is quite new to be regulated by the Charity Commission. This has posed all kinds of governance issues for student unions, in that the ultimate power has moved from the students in some certain aspects to a trustee board, but the trustee board is comprised of some elected student officers as representatives. It's fair to say that nationally there's been a lot of talk and debate about this issue, but with a general election looming, the Charity Commission has been given about £10.2 million to improve its monitoring activities, and student unions are #1 priority in its monitoring activities, to ensure that we're doing the right things with the money we get, and also to ensure that student unions are behaving within the law and behaving under the guidance of the Charities Commission. This is going to mean a subtle change in some of the things that we can and cannot do as an organisation, and it's only fair to share it with our members. The guidance itself, by the way, this student union has been one of the 10 or so student unions that have received a monitoring visit. Now, to date, the Charity Commission are very happy with what we do and how we do it, but there are still advice and guidance to come to us. So we just wanted to do a quick run through of the impacts of what the lobbying bill means for us, some general guidance on our campaigning activity, and some of the constraints we are under. So, as I say, student unions are relatively new charities. There is more money for enforcement in the Charity Commission, and the general election is really making people panic a little bit about the political activities of student unions. So, what are our legal obligations? Well, we must advance education in a way that is charitable. Student unions, we must also guard our reputation. We must have independence from any candidate or political party. We mustn't seek to or intend to influence voters. And we mustn't be used as a vehicle for expressing a trustee or officer's own political views. So some of this is to do with campaigning, some of this is to do with politics. In basic, the advice all boils down to, we can't do anything that doesn't affect students as students. So we can't campaign on anything that affects students other than as students of Westminster. I'm not commenting on the sanity of the legislation or guidance, I'm just commenting on the... But the SU, so for example, we can campaign on free education, but we can't go ahead and campaign on, say, changes to the UK taxation system or savings from government spending to support free education. Individuals can, but the student union cannot support or resource that. So for example, we can provide funding for coaches to sports events, but we couldn't provide coaches to a non-education political event like a demo. Some of you might start to recognise that this is impacting on some of what traditionally student unions are considered as being able to do. Another example to kind of sort of reinforce this issue is, so Shelter, for example, can campaign for more housing, but it can't promote or challenge political parties or government initiatives that build the houses. So this is the regime under which your student union operates, and it will affect some of the things that we can and cannot do. We can, however, promote free and fair debate. So in our general election coverage, we did have a free and fair debate because we invited a wide range of parties. Our society activities, for example, they can have free and fair debates on issues that don't affect them as students but concern them as individuals. But they couldn't spend money to campaign on change or campaign on impacting on those issues. Just why we brought it here is because the first thing we hear is, well, my mate at another university is involved in an organisation that's just done a free whatever campaign. And at the moment, nobody believes us. And nobody believes us because the Charity Commission haven't really started coming in heavy-handed on this. They're just starting their work on this. Other people may not have had a visit from the Charity Commission, but I can guarantee every student union in the country is going to have to change. So we thought it important to bring this up with our members because this is going to be an ongoing debate throughout the following years in what we can and cannot support and will impact on some of our society's activities. And we're doing this because we have to, not because we want to. Any questions on that? Yep. Oh. Sorry?
So the student union is supposed to be a movement that helps amplify what the students are fighting for. So what are you going to be amplifying now?
Anything that affects you as a Westminster student. So anything around your course, your student or university experience, or the experience linked to you being at Westminster, we're still perfectly capable of amplifying. We can also run and host free and open and fair debates on issues that may impact on you, national or global issues that may impact on you, but we couldn't fund, resource or endorse a campaign, say for example, on that particular issue. So we could hold a debate on it, but we couldn't resource a campaign on it. Any more questions on that? Okay. I think we've reached the end of the sort of formal bit of the agenda. The floor is open for any and all comments. Okay. In the absence of any or all comments, what we'll do is thank everybody for listening, thank everybody for engaging with us. I want everybody to see this as a start of the Student Union trying to mass communicate and engage with its students. So I thank you for being here, for waiting, for eating the pizza, and I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.